So I started out in Onshape, an online CAD tool, and laid everything out, kind of based my design on what I'd seen others do. And I have absolutely no experience or knowledge with CNC whatsoever. This is the first time I've ever tried something like this. So um, it was a lot of guesswork involved, I guess you could say. Um, I decided to go with kind of a hybrid approach where I had a belt controlled Y axis and then lead screws on the X and Z axis, and you'll be able to see that a little closer in just a second. So here it is, relatively done. It's not quite finished, but you can see I need to get my control box put together. I do have my power supply there, the X, Y, and Z drivers for the stepper motors, and then I'm using a parallel port breakout board that takes the signals from Linux CNC and drives the motor. So that's the little board there. The frame for everything is birch plywood, uh, using linear rails and linear bearings to make sure everything slides smoothly and freely. There's a 3D printed belt tensioner I came up with for this design. It's working out pretty well too. I might do some close-ups on that in a later video. There you can see the belt on the left-hand side. An 8mm drive shaft carries that to the other side where there's a mirror belt on the other side. There's my Z-axis, those 16mm linear rods and bearings. So there's the other side. That's a GT2 belt and pulley system. And then there's a T10 linear screw up above. And that's also what's in the Z-axis, a T10. Harbor Freight trim router, got that for $40. I'm pretty impressed with it. That's a 3D printed router mount I developed also in Onshape. And so far that's working out really well for me. And here it is in action, running Linux CNC. This is actually kind of a fake video because these parts have already been cut and I'm running back through it again. I decided to make a video after the parts were almost completely done. So it's running back. That's why you don't see any dust or anything flying off. And I'm cutting out a sample of some box joints to try to fit together a box joint box, which I'll have a picture of here at the end. And my plan is to detail this build out in more videos. So this is kind of I guess a trailer maybe of an upcoming feature. I'm going to try to put more detail in and kind of show my pros and cons, things I liked, things that I should have done differently, and that sort of thing. So here are a few samples of examples of parts I did for testing and for learning purposes. Nothing's been sanded really, so you can see rough tool marks. And I'm still learning how to do the feed and speed control and so forth. There's an inlay I did in a scrap piece of plywood, and that's the MDF box that you saw earlier. There's an oak version of it. So just a handful of things. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please subscribe because I do plan to more thoroughly document the process I've gone through and pros and cons, good things and bad things, and so forth. So thank you.